Hey, what's up, everyone? Today we're talking about the recipe for any major story that you need to tell. Now, to give you an idea what I mean, imagine you have a burger. For a burger to be called a burger, you need a burger and buns, right? And then it's a burger. If you don't have those ingredients, it's not going to be called a burger. But once you have those ingredients, then you can add a whole lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Hypnotic Storytelling. So, where I help you make an impact with stories that are hypnotic. So, let's get cracking. And today I want to talk about storytelling basics. You see, first of all, for you to tell hypnotic stories, first of all, we got to get the basics right, the storytelling basics. So I'm going to be sharing with you 7 basic elements of a story. Now, why is this important? Have you ever witnessed someone tell a bad story? Like, have you been one of those people? Are you one of those people? It's okay if you are. It's okay if you are. But have you ever witnessed someone tell a really bad story? No, it is not fun. And like they leave things out, you get confused by the whole thing. The story is confusing. It's just not a fun experience for the listener or for the storyteller. Now, how did I discover a little bit more about just the elements of storytelling? Even before I started learning hypnotic storytelling, where did I discover storytelling? Well, a number of years ago in Abu Dhabi, I took part in a competition to try and make a film, and I won the opportunity to get a film funded by Image Nation in Abu Dhabi, who does a lot of Hollywood movies, just a small budget, but they were like, okay, you have the opportunity to get your film funded, but you need to tell us, you need to come up with an idea of what it is that you want in your film. Tell us what the film is about. So initially I started telling them a few of the basics of the film, and they were like, no. If you want us to actually fund a film, you have to make sure that you have all the basics. You need to tell us all of these things. And they gave me a sheet, and you had to fill it out. And they're like, if you don't give every single person that ever submits a story to any Hollywood funders or anything like that, they need to have these basics. If you don't have those basics, you ain't going to get your film funded. No one's going to understand the story. No one's going to appreciate what you're trying to say. So even if it's a summary or if it was a short story, you need the basics, and that's going to tell people what they are. So I got it. I was like, okay, I got it. So let's go. What are the basics? So here are the 7 storytelling foundations, and not just for any story, but more specifically, I'm going to give you how they relate to telling hypnotic stories. So let's get started. Number one is you have to have a main character. Now, in any story, you have to have who the story is about, or what is it about, right? Even if it's about a plant, the plant is a main character that grew up because it got what, I don't know, whatever it is. But you need to have a main character that the story revolves around. Typically, in a hypnotic story, the main character is who the listener is going to identify with. So if you're telling a story that's going to be a little bit hypnotic, then the person that's listening is going to listen to the main character, and they're going to identify with that main character. Big shout out. What's up, Dolores Lee? Hey, big shout out to you. I am very well. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you. So that's number 1, the main character. So let's get going with number 2. Then you have the antagonist, the issue, the conflict, the bad guy, the person we all know, no bueno. So the antagonist, is basically the antagonist is a fancy word for the bad guy. You don't like the bad guy, but it doesn't need to be a bad person, right? it can be a bad person, it can be the weather, for example, is the challenge, the thing that the hero is up against. Or so it could be feelings, so lack of confidence, that could be the challenge. So the antagonist, who's the evil person, the issue, the conflict, what is the person going to be overcoming? Especially if you're doing a hypnotic story, who is your hero going to overcome? What are they going to overcome? And that is very, very powerful. Watching from the Philippines, salamat. Thanks for tuning in. I got a lot of got a big Filipino mafia always representing. I appreciate you guys. All right, cool. So then let's go on to number three. Number three is where. Where is this taking place and when? Your setting, right? For example, when I told you the my story of how I learned this, I went, like a few years ago in Abu Dhabi. Very quickly, it's just where and when. You need to orient your person to get them to get into the story. So where and when is very powerful. That's your setting. So that's number three. Number four. Say what? The plot. What are you saying? What are you saying in your story? What is happening? What is the sequence of events? So a story isn't just, there was a man. Okay? You can even say a setting. There was a man. He was in Abu Dhabi. It was 2 years ago. Okay. What is the sequence of events? If you want a story that's interesting, you got to have a plot. You got to have things that happen, a sequence of events in order for it to be interesting. So that is number 4. Hey, Rick, tuning in from Rancho Santa Fe in California. Always a pleasure to see you, buddy. Great to see you. How's it going? By the way, I saw a couple of pictures of yours, man. Your place in Santa Fe. Ooh, I love it. All right, cool. So that's number 4, the plot. And then let's go on to number 5. If you're telling a hypnotic story and the person that your listener is identifying with the hero or the person, the subject, the character, and you want to have a point of epiphany, a transformation, something that the person goes through. So if they are unconfident, then they realize that all they need to do is step out of their comfort zone every so often. I don't know, whatever it is, but you have to have a moment of insight that your listener can identify with, and a moment of transformation so that your listener can imagine that a transformation happening for them. This is powerful. So a moment of epiphany, a moment of transformation, and that is step number 5. And epiphany is just that moment of ding, like light bulb moment, like, oh my God, I just realized. For example, when I was telling the story of when I started to learn about how to tell stories, someone told me that I needed to have all the elements, and I was like, oh, I get it now. And now I always add these elements into my stories. That's the epiphany and sort of transformation. So the epiphany is that light bulb moment, or transformation is changing your ways, that moment of changing your ways. So that's number 5.
Number 6.
6, and then a story is you kind of want to know what happens, right? So the person has a challenge, they have an insight, they have a little bit of a transformation in how they behave, and then what happens? What is the end of the story? They win, or they learn something new, or they become more confident, or they overcome their internal struggles. Whatever it is, if you're telling a story, what is the result of your story? What happens at the end? This lets people know so that they can, okay, they have an idea of what the win is. Again, I mean, these are basics of storytelling. However, it's a little checklist. I know it's simple, but you got to get the fundamentals right in every story, and that's going to get your stories to go so much further. Okay, cool. So that's number 6. And then let's go on to our final one, which is...
And here's number 7.
When it comes to hypnotic storytelling, right? When it comes to hypnotic storytelling, what is the message that you want to get across? Get clear on that before you tell the story. Like, don't just, you could tell a story just for the sake of telling a story, but is it that you want the person to be more confident? Is it that you want them to overcome some challenges? Whatever it is, you want to be clear on what is the one message that you want them to get across. Not 100 messages. Like, what is that key takeaway that you want them to get across? And so that is very, very powerful. Like, understanding your key message allows you to infuse it and subconsciously communicates it throughout your story. So those are the 7 elements, the 7 basic elements of a story. And so I urge you to, if you're going to be telling stories, just use this as a little bit of a checklist. Who is my main character? Who is my antagonist? What's the setting, etc. Go through these elements and you will tell more powerful stories, more complete stories that will impact your audience, engage your audience, and take them and take you so much further. With that, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Bye, Ma, Dolores Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you haven't, check out the videos. No, here. Check out my latest videos and subscribe over here. Other than that, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out, one love, and I will see you on another episode real soon. Oh, what's that? That's awesome. I'm reminded of a famous scene. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great movie, isn't it, Rick? Love that movie. All right. Peace out, everyone. I will... here's a tip. Have a point. Yes. Here's a tip. Have a point. 100%. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out. One love. I will see you on another episode real soon. Check out the videos and subscribe if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, I'll see you on another episode real soon. Bye, guys.